our breadbasket, which we kind of consider, anywhere 3 to 4 hours from Clemson. And so there's a lot of good players in Charlotte and in North Carolina, Atlanta and Georgia and South Carolina, and that fall into that 3 to 4 hour breadbasket. And, he happens to be one that's kind of right in our backyard. So, but you'll see a lot of our freshmen, we've gotten those guys from Atlanta here recently, and that's been really good to us.
Left side, very back row.
Hey, Brad. Pete Iacobelli, Associated Press. What's PJ's status? How's he doing in his recovery?
Well, he's doing great, but it's challenging, right? It's a tough couple of injuries. It's been a hard off-season for him. I'm really proud of him, the way he's attacked his rehab. He's had 2, and so he's doing well. He's ahead of schedule. We're optimistic that he'll play in November at some point. We don't know when. But I do think the next 2 to 3 weeks are really the most important times for that. He's had no contact. He's done nothing with our team. He's just been on the side doing a little shooting and conditioning and trying to get his legs stronger, with all the surgery he's had. But he's doing very well. So, again, I'm optimistic that he could be back early in the season. We'll have to wait and see.
Let's go back to our second row. We'll hustle the microphone back to our left.
So Chase, my question for you is, obviously your brother, he's playing with you now, Dylan Hunter. What has it been like playing with him and having him be at Clemson with you?
Oh, it's definitely been a great experience. We've already had some chemistry being that we played together in high school. But, for me it's been different because now I'm in a leadership role as far as, basketball. Usually we're just at home just chilling. But, it's been a good experience for sure. I would say for me, just learning how to talk to him on a basketball level, not more of a brother level. Sometimes we do butt heads and argue a little bit, but he's catching on. He's learning fast, and he's gonna be good.
Coach, from the podium, as you're watching that dynamic between the two brothers, do you feel like you need to step in at times, or do you let it sort of work itself out?
Yeah, no, I haven't had to step in. It's been good. It's funny because Chase is a little quieter, right? Like he just kind of plays, and we're trying to get him to be more vocal. And it's funny because in practice, I'm up top a lot, and they're kind of, Chase or Dylan is usually out there. Both are kind of playing the guard spots, point guard spots. And, every once in a while now I'm hearing Chase from behind me coaching his brother, right? Like he's coaching his brother like, hey, coach told you not to do that, right? Like you're not listening, right? And I'm just thinking to myself like, wow, that's great that Chase did listen, because sometimes he wasn't always communicating himself. But now he doesn't communicate like that with the other guys on the team enough, but he certainly doesn't have any problem correcting his little brother. And so, but Dylan has been great. He's a good player, and he's a guy that wants to learn, and obviously those two guys together have been really fun to coach, and that dynamic has been a fun one for us in our team.
Hunter, speaking of learning, we've used this a couple of times today. What is it that you've learned in your time at Clemson, something you know now that you did not know when you first came in?
Man, there's so many things. One thing that comes to mind that I've really been trying to pass down to our freshmen is just the importance of, I understand guys that like your head's spinning, the game feels like it's a million miles an hour, but you just got to stick with it. As long as you stick with it, I promise that it's not as bad as it seems, and it'll all work itself out.
So are you saying that it does slow down in time?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, it slows down.
Coach, team went on an overseas trip to France. Beyond the basketball, what was accomplished?
Oh, a lot, really. It was a phenomenal experience for our players. Certainly the camaraderie that we built, the team spirit, morale was awesome and is continued today. We have a great group of young men that are a pleasure to coach and a lot of fun to be around, and I enjoy them every day. But as much as anything, I hope our trip to Normandy, hit home with our players, and I think it did. And it needs to be reminded, we all need to be reminded of things like that, people that sacrificed and gave the ultimate sacrifice for us to have the kind of lives we have. And we talked about it a lot, you know, going to the different places. Certainly the cemetery was inspiring, and to see the graves of 6 Clemson students who paid the ultimate sacrifice, you know, I think really hit home with our players. And so there's so many things that came from that, but I hope that's one that sticks with them for a long time.
Left side, 5th row.
Matt Connolly with ClemsonSports.com. Brad, just from a basketball perspective, what did you learn about your team on that trip, and how do you feel like it kind of helped you guys come together?
You know what? I learned that we're a versatile group. We're bigger, obviously, than we've been the last couple of years, and I think we can play a lot of different ways. We can play with 3 guards. We can play Hunter Tyson at the 3. We can, you know, be bigger. And, you know, it just reaffirmed what I already knew, which is that we have a lot of great kids in our program that want to be coached and want to be good and want to work and like each other and want to have fun and just have a good experience. And we've kind of done all that. We had an incredible summer together. We worked really hard, you know, got to take a great trip together, and now, you know, we're hopefully going to see the fruits of some of that labor this fall in our season. But we're off to a great start. Our momentum is really positive and good. And I think, you know, again, we need to stay healthy. We haven't been healthy, as healthy as we'd like the last couple of years. These 2 guys have both been injured. We need those guys healthy, and PJ to achieve all that we want to.
We'll go left side to the gentleman that we just heard from, or next to the gentleman. No, sir, next to, my fault. Long day.
Phil Kornblut, Sports Talk Media Network. Brad, a healthy PJ, does he make you a completely different team? I mean, can you be an elite team with a healthy PJ?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think PJ is one of the 5 or 6 best players in our league if he's healthy. You know, and you know, by the time hopefully we get to ACC, he's able to show all that because he is healthy and he's got some game experience. He won't have played, you know, since last year. He won't have much time, you know, in the fall. You know, he really hasn't played since last season. And so it's going to be, we're going to have to be patient. I've got to be patient. Our team has to be patient with him. But he's extremely talented and competitive young man. I mean, he's got great hands. He can catch. He can shoot. You know, he's playing with confidence, or he was finishing the year with confidence, which I think is really important. And he's a guy who's now had to overcome, you know, 2 off-season surgeries. So I think it'll, you know, that humbles you a little as well, and it makes you appreciate every day. And I think we're going to get everything we possibly can out of him, and he's an extremely talented player.
Coach, what do you like about your schedule? You've got a bit of a tournament-style event in November, one in December. How's that all shaking out?
I mean, I like our schedule. We try to challenge ourselves as best we could. We've got a couple neutral site games against teams that, you know, have NCAA tournament aspirations, have been there, and have those kind of veteran teams. We've got a great tournament down in Florida with NCAA teams. We've scheduled a couple mid-major teams that won their leagues last year. So we've tried to do everything we can to put our guys in a position to play meaningful games in November and December. You know, and then obviously I think the league is going to be tremendous. You know, I thought it was better than people realized last year, and it probably showed itself in the NCAA tournament with how well our teams did. And I think that number will be more this year.
Another question to our left, back to the young man, 2nd row.
Coach, Clemson's average attendance last season was its lowest since the 1970s. First, why do you think that is, and what could be done to sort of galvanize and attract the student body in Clemson?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I do think the COVID situation, people are still, you know, we're still trying to kind of get bearings from that. You know, we got to do our part and play well and create some excitement, which I think we will. I think it'll be different just because of that. I think people, now that we're getting away from a little bit more of the COVID experience, that fans are more comfortable coming out. I think that's going to happen this year as well.
Chase, you've got a second half of last season that you really can build upon for this season. What is it about the end of last season that you've been able to take with you through the off season, through the workouts, all the way up to today?
I would say just staying confident. You know, I did end off well, and it was a season for me definitely that was good, just from my confidence in my game. And I would say this summer just learning how to keep that going, just coming in every day and just working. You know, I definitely want the same results this year, and I'm gonna work to make that happen.
Hunter, do you have to win a championship to call it a successful season?
Well, I don't know if we have to win a championship to call it a successful season. Now, obviously, that is our main goal, but I think a successful season for the Clemson Tigers just looks like, you know, playing our best basketball at the end of the year, working hard every day, taking every opportunity we can to, you know, just be the best team we can be.
Anything else for the Tigers from the floor? Seeing none, Clemson, good luck this season. Thanks for being with us. Folks, Wake is due up next at 4:30, and they will be our final squad for the 2022 ACC tip-off.